Alright, welcome to another Destiny 2 video. You may have just saw Evie's ear right outside the door there. She thought about coming in, but she is busy celebrating her birthday elsewhere in the house apparently. So everyone say happy birthday to Evie. She's turning 3 today. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something that I'm sure I have talked about before. I may have even done a video on it, but this has kind of come back to my mind again recently because of some things that have been happening. And fundamentally, I believe that Bungie is once again probably placing too much emphasis on Trials, and I firmly believe that they should be prioritizing Iron Banner over Trials, and yet that is clearly not happening. And so the reason this is kind of sparked is this week, the TWAB was about how the Vanguard is changing its system to get rid of tokens like we all thought, and it's going to get a rank system. Also in that TWAB was the fact that Trials is getting a rank system at some point, though we didn't get any details on that, but it might be when Season 15 launches, and we just haven't heard about it yet, something like that. This led me to ask the question, what about Iron Banner? Because that's the last activity remaining where you have to stockpile a bunch of tokens and then turn them in randomly for rewards, a system that Bungie is clearly trying to get away from, and yet there are no announcements to changes there. There's no Iron Banner rank system or any changes to reward structure or anything like that. I straight up asked DMG about it, and he replied, and he said that the team is looking at Iron Banner, but there is no ETA on that. And so all that says to me is, again, that Iron Banner is not being prioritized. This is not a new switch. They did say they were going to work on adjusting Trials before Iron Banner, and yet I think that's a mistake. I feel like they are always trying to kind of work on Trials, perfect Trials, and like everything is kind of in service of Trials at the expense of not really even just Iron Banner, but like all of PvP. I made a prediction. Oh, there she is. Hello, Evie. I made a prediction previously in a video a couple days ago that I do think that next week we are finally going to be getting, or next season, we are finally going to be getting some new Crucible maps. I think the timing lines up, and I do not think that they will have the community wait 5-6 months until the Witch Queen, because PvP maps are free. I think they can kind of debut whenever, and they don't need to be attached to an expansion. So that would be good news, and that alone would kind of shake up PvP, but we can't assume that will happen. And I just firmly think that Iron Banner should be something that has more attention devoted to it than it does. We talk about like when the last time is we got new PvP maps. It's also the last time we got new Iron Banner armor, which is Shadowkeep, which is almost 2 years ago now. And we have just had kind of the same reprised Iron Banner armor sets over and over again, which is disappointing given that the Destiny 1 Iron Banner sets are some of the most coveted or highly praised armor sets in Destiny's history. There's also weird things like, even with how much they've been recycling Iron Banner armor, they have never actually given us those ornaments that we had in year 1 that could have been like its own set of armor, and they've just never reissued those. I personally am bothered by this because I never got those ornaments because I wasn't playing Iron Banner in any capacity back then. I just didn't care about it, but that has changed. The more I played Destiny 2, the more I played Iron Banner. I actually like Iron Banner when it rolls around as an activity. I don't have that many suggestions for changes about Iron Banner itself. I think the thing they did with the matchmaking where they would first they got freelance, so that was a good improvement to it. And then they did the thing where it switches people around based on how you perform last game to form more balanced teams. It's not perfect, but I think it's definitely better than it used to be. This past season, we did get some new weapons for Iron Banner. 2 were reprised, and then 2 were brand new. Those are the first brand new, randomly rolled Iron Banner weapons in, I don't even remember, years, many years. And like you can see how well that worked. Like everyone was trying to get a Wristwalker, which was a very good shotgun. And maybe the machine gun will be good once machine guns are buffed. But, it's a machine gun. How good can it be? But I think that like really showed that like you can still make highly sought after Iron Banner gear. The problem remained that they didn't change. They have yet to change anything about how you earn Iron Banner rewards. Like we are in like D2 vanilla state for Iron Banner rewards, and we have never left that. The problem is you're at the mercy of complete luck. You can sometimes get end of match drops. Those are very infrequent, and I think they should be dramatically increased. There are bounties, which you use for 4 pinnacles a week, and yet the problem with those is, like, again, you can't pick the slot, so you might get like 3 kinetic weapons out of 4 things. So those are not a great way to get your pinnacles a lot of the time. And then there's the token system, which is just, here's the whole pool, 5 pieces of armor, I don't know, 8, 10 guns, whatever's in there. And you want a wrist walker, like, you can turn in 4,000 tokens and maybe not even get one. I think in 1,600 tokens or something, I got 5 or 6. I did not get a god roll, but I definitely know people who turned in thousands and didn't even get one, because that's RNG and that's just how it works. We have suggested a bazillion different things in terms of how this should be reorganized. We already had a system in the past where you could at least choose between weapons and armor, so that would cut the loot pool in half in terms of what you were going for. There's the obvious solution of Iron Umbral engrams, where you could, I don't know, pay tokens to have them focused. It would make sense if they didn't do any of these interim things, if there was some sort of imminent big change to Iron Banner coming, and yet there has not been, and it is clearly not a priority over anything else in any capacity. It's been lagging behind this whole time in terms of target farming, and yet now, once everything is being switched over from tokens, it's going to be the last thing pretty much that still uses tokens. Like, we're assuming that the Trials rank system will get rid of tokens too. And Trials tokens go away week to week anyway, so that's not like an activity you can stockpile tokens in. And it'll just be Iron Banner, and that's it. You can see weekly, like, when Iron Banner comes out, it is a very, very highly played activity, like more so than Trials. Like, Iron Banner is, quote, pinnacle PvP, and yet it is something that is much more accessible than Trials, first and foremost because it's match made, secondly because even if you do get mercied from time to time, like, the freelance playlist will probably end up getting you some wins by default, just because you will get matched with, good people at some point, or if you are a good person, you still can reap the rewards by, either stacking with a team and doing the regular playlist, or just performing solo very well and making sure you're kind of leading your team. And as such, like, it's, you can get the pinnacle awards from that. You can get unique weapons you can't get anywhere else. And the only problem has just been the RNG of that. Trials, meanwhile, is just like a total exercise in frustration for almost everybody. Like, if you're like mediocre at PvP, you just don't enjoy it because you're getting stomped all the time, because matchmaking is putting you against people you have no business playing against, and there's no freelance, there's no randomization. It's like 3 stacks. The whole point is being against 3 stacks. So the average player, might LFG a team, but they're going to be matched against, triple flawless, gilded people at least half the time, if not like 70-80% of the time. And then the amount of effort you have to put in, like, you have to lose 10 games, like 0-5, to get 1 drop of 1 weapon. So, like, it is just painfully unrewarding, to the point where, the population for that gets lower and lower and lower, and there's really nothing that makes it seem like it can recover. I just published an article about, like, ideas for Trials, and the one idea everyone has is to, let people lose as many times as they want, but if they get 3, 5, 7 wins total over the course of a weekend, give them those prizes. I think that is, a benefit, but again, that is 1 roll for each of those 3 things. Out of how many games would that take? If you're a bad player, like 20 games, 30 games, who knows? So the point is like, Trials is much more frustrating and much less rewarding than Iron Banner, and I think people just generally, prefer playing Iron Banner, which is shown by the player count, and they would prefer to play it more if Iron Banner would expand with more new weapons, new armor sets, a new way to claim rewards, and then maybe alternate modes that aren't just, the same, control system and survive the hunt thing over and over again like we've had forever. So I think Bungie has generally speaking, yeah, they put PvP on the back burner forever, but Iron Banner in particular seems like something that they are ignoring at their own peril, because this is one of Destiny's kind of most popular ritual activities that has been with the game for, pretty much since its inception, and used to offer some of the best rewards in the game and some of the most iconic weapons and iconic armor. And that has just not really been true to the same extent in Destiny 2, and they have made very, very minimal efforts, in the time since then. And then when we see they have made an effort sometimes, like a new shotgun, that is something that is immediately popular and something that everyone wants and everyone pursues. And the only problem is the way to get it was just frustrating and annoying. So I think they need to devote, if not equal resources, more resources to Iron Banner than they are fixing Trials at this point. I wrote my Trials article today, and Gadalion was like, is your advice that they scrap it and do a completely new Pinnacle PvP activity because Trials is bad and should have been left behind in Destiny 1? The more I think about it, and the more I've seen them like try and make Trials work for like 7 years now, the more I think that could be true. And this kind of just goes with my general sense of like, maybe Trials just like isn't a well-structured activity and there kind of is no saving it. And if the best fix for Trials that everyone wants to see is like letting people lose like 20 games to get 5 wins or something, like maybe we're in a worse state than we thought. But that's a whole other video of like what can replace Trials, and that will require much more thinking than me kind of just inventing stuff off the top of my head. Ranked playlist, most obvious one maybe, but who knows. So anyway, that's my call for them to not have Iron Banner in no ETA category and to actually start working on it more, possibly more than Trials, possibly prioritizing it above Trials, although we know that they are not doing this for at least the short term. Given how long Season 15 is destined to be, with the Witch Queen delayed till early 2022, maybe we will get Iron Banner changes like mid-season. They definitely do not seem to be coming with the launch of the season in a month, but maybe there will be some sort of changes by the end of the season. We just, again, no ETA, so I guess we'll find out. But thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. Is Evie here to say goodbye? She is not, but I will tell her that you guys wish her happy birthday, and I totally just screwed up my camera somehow. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys. Take care.